where is, I don't know what's wrong with it. It just crashes the first time. Every time it just says unable to find stream. So I've got to basically kill it. I've got to, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, anyway, I've got it working again. So, I was talking briefly yesterday about a new technique of using momentum and drive on these segments. What's important is the fact that each segment needs to be self-contained, a magnetic loop, because if you don't have a self-contained loop, then the magnetic flux will interact with all the subsequent segments or previous segments. Obviously I've only got two here at the moment. Spacing is going to be quite critical, so before I actually design a rotor system using the segments, I've been testing out various means of propulsion using a U bracket. First I was trying out with these previous bits of welding rods, which I made these, oh god, I must have made these six or 7 years ago, I can't remember now, but they've oxidized and they've gone all dull, but they were copper coloured originally. And this particular one required me to have some sort of what do you call it, a cog repulsion piece of ferrite in the middle. And I thought, well, there must be a better way of doing it than using this. So I cut a piece of steel out of my old sheet, which was used for the original laser cut segments, because I thought, well, if I have I don't need to use the ferrite, I could just stick a magnet in between to couple it, to create a transition between the segments. So what I've done here is I've stuck a 20mm by 3mm round neodymium magnet in between the two segments to create my transition so that I don't have the cogging problem, and that seems to work. What I've done is I've superglued that in place because these things kept flopping around, you know, they just curl up on themselves. And so bearing in mind that there's a lot of friction between these segments and the table, and you'll be able to see the actual effect. So all I have to do is introduce this U bracket at one end. So if I, without breaking anything, because I don't want to break the bond of the superglue, otherwise it's just going to flop around. So I'm going to move that out of the way, I don't want any crashes. So when we introduce this end, as you can see, there's actually, it's not doing it, it's not moving or anything, right? The segments are not moving. So as I bring this in, I've got no resistance as we're coming in. I've got no resistance. There's very little. It's actually wants to topple a little bit, but there's virtually nothing there I can feel. And as I move along the segment, you can see what happens. It pulls it in. Oh, I don't want this to break the glue. Don't break, please don't break. I don't want to be just gluing this back together again. So you can see it pulls itself in, which is going to pull the segments in that direction, right? So if this was on a rotor system, so as I move it along, we get maximum thrust around about here at the end. And once I get there, you can see it moves the segments. So we're actually making a positive gain there. Once I get to this point here, there's virtually no resistance, except when I lift it up, it will levitate slightly and it will move back a bit. But so if I come along and we see the actual thrust as it's moving along, it's sticking to the side walls a little bit. So this steel is a little bit too flimsy. So I'm trying to get it off the wall right now because it's causing me to get stuck. But I'm just pushing it off the walls because, yeah, we don't want to be in the walls. We want to have an air gap all the way around. So, and then as we actually transition to the next segment, we should, it's that magnet in the middle that's pulling it in. So as we get to, I'm just wiggling it a bit because of the friction. So then we should see another pulse there. So it actually pushes itself out, and it's friction that's causing it to get stuck to the side there. So, but if there's an air gap there, and this is fixed on a rotary system, there's no reason why this shouldn't continue to move. That's my theory, hope. I'm just trying to get this to not stick to the walls, because it's sticking to the walls right now, and that's causing it to pull along when it shouldn't do. So if I can just get this over here, you can see it pulls it. Now there should be another segment obviously at this end, so we can carry on. Right, but obviously I've only got 2 right now, and I've run out of magnets, so I need to actually get some more magnets and stuff, but I need filament as well. So you get the idea. Obviously the entry point is, there's virtually nothing there, it's not sticking at all. So obviously if we have segments consecutively around in the perimeter, we should have a driving force there, because as you can see it moved back there, and it's the end one that causes the problem, because there's nothing on the other end at the moment, and that big neodymium right in the middle there is pulling this. So I need to maintain the gap between both sides so that it's equal, and they can't do that unless it's mounted on a rotor. And obviously if it was on a rotor I wouldn't have that problem, because there is virtually no, if you look, if I maintain the gap there like it is at the moment, it's all good, but trying to get this along here to the point where it's going to kick it out is tricky, to say the least, when it's not mounted to anything. I'll just move this up. I'm running out of table here, hang on. Get this in the middle. I'm holding it down on the table right now, so when we get to about here somewhere, oops, it should move again. There, it's pushing back there. Right, so yeah, this is what I'm fiddling about with at the moment. I'm trying different arrangements of this steel and having to bend them out a bit and shape this. It's a bit sharp actually. I want to watch that myself, because I've just cut it with my steel cutters and it's pretty sharp. Yeah, so this is what I'm playing around with at the moment. It's just trying to get the best optimum. Yeah, it definitely has a positive gain pulling in that direction there at the junction, and it does actually pull along here if I use the this steel. We see a lot of thrust on this point when at the moment. Actually maybe I should leave that magnet on there, because it's stuck on there really well with blue tack right now. Try and find different magnets. Let me just get a couple of these neodymiums. I want the same pole. Oh, that's the same pole. Ah, get off. Right, I'll stick it on there. Oops, I don't want to break my magnets. Everything's got so expensive lately. This was stuck on blue tack before, so it wouldn't keep curling around on itself, but I'm going to try and hold it. This is very tricky, awkward to do without blue tack. So if I just come along here, it usually pulls around the middle here. I can feel it a little bit, but that neodymium stuck in the between there is causing an imbalance on this one, because I didn't use that magnet in the middle. So probably it'd be better if I don't use any neodymium in the middle. Actually, it's probably better. That magnet's probably too strong. Probably need a weaker magnet in the middle there, instead of, or a piece of ferrite, because it's interfering with the flux field. It's causing the field to all wrap to the central point. So it's a little bit of an overkill, is that, I think. Yeah, definitely, because it's not doing what it did before with this one. So I'll change it just by sticking that neodymium in there. It's distorted the field too much, so I probably need to use ferrite. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Is these off. I'll do that now actually. There we go, break it off. Oops. So, oh shit, I took part of the neodymium off. But I took the chrome off the flipping thing. It stuck to my Oops. Yeah, I took the chrome off my magnet. That's not good. Yeah, I better use some acetone to melt that off. So anyway, I just wanted to show you. Oh shit, it's going to break the magnet in a minute. Get off! Put it over there. Right, so I just wanted to show you what I'm doing at the moment. Anyway, I'm just basically playing around with different configurations. So that's it for now. Bye for now.